Welcome, brothers and sisters. Good afternoon to you again. I am Elder John Lee Garrett Sr. here at Shepherd Missionary Baptist Church in Stone Mountain, Georgia, located at 6026 Pomerania Court, Stone Mountain, Georgia 30087. You are watching us again on another segment of Refuel with the Shepherd. On yesterday, brothers and sisters, we talked with you out of what David had said in the 27th Psalm, that the Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? We talked about that one thing. What is the one thing that you really desire of God? What is that one thing that you're really seeking after God for? That you may inquire, that you may be able to behold His beauty and dwell in the house of the Lord forever. What house is that? Well, this tabernacle that we live in now, and the one that is to come, that we would never have to worry about sickness, disease, stress, or any other thing that shall cause us any trouble in our life. How shall I get to that one thing? Well, as I ministered on yesterday, as I ministered on today, as I ministered early this morning, one of the best ways to get that, brothers and sisters, is by two words: forgiving and letting go. And I understand that was three, but the two words I want you to remember: forgive, let go. So today, for us to be able to understand that, and for us to no longer to be bound by the issues of life, for us to receive the independence that Christ gave us at Calvary when He died for us, we're getting ready to come up and embark on what we always celebrate. We as black people, we have celebrated what is called a Juneteenth celebration, which meant 100 years after the nation, our present nation that we live in, July 14, 1776, they celebrated the 4th of July, or that Independence Day. But it was 100 years later that blacks celebrated that independence, which was 1876. 100 years later, the Emancipation Proclamation had already been written, but had not yet been enforced into law, and yet another 100 years was tacked on to the slavery time that blacks encountered. Now, why am I saying this? This is not a racial thing, so I don't want nobody to interpret this the wrong way. Our true independence came at Calvary in spite of being enslaved, in spite of having hard taskmasters, in spite of being separated as families, as people of color. Yet God had already given us our independence. Yet God had already forgiven those that had brought our families, our forefathers, into what we call slavery, into what was sold them into, what they were sold into, for the purpose of getting us to this place now. It was part of our destiny. How was it a part of our destiny? To bring us to a place to trust God no matter what, to know that God would be able to sustain us, to deliver us in no matter what the circumstances or situation was. What is that one thing? We have to learn how to, one, forgive and let go. The power that is given to us, that we won't be bound by, that we no longer will be bound by, that our circumstances can no longer hold us of whatever it is. Some of us are bound by our present situations, circumstances, relationships, past hurts, present hurts. We're hurt by what people have said, how they've said it, as it has been said in cliche. Some of us wear our feelings on our shoulders. We have to learn how to not allow our emotions, as Pastor Kim has often said, as I've rebutted on it, as Minister Tracy have said it, as Mother Spence have said it, and many other preachers around the world have said, your emotions cannot be the controlling and defining factor of your life. It should be the Spirit of God. How does God deal with us? Yes, He deals with us through our emotions, but it's the Spirit of God that governs and controls the emotions, so that our emotions from our human side does not characterize or does not put us in position where we are rendered weaklings, where we're rendered powerless. So today, Galatians chapter 5, one of my favorite scriptures, as Paul talk to the church at Galatia. I want to ask this one question with you today, as while you're looking at this, when you get a chance to look at this later on today. I know the hour is 12:05. I do understand that we're taping just a little bit later today, but this is for the set hour. This is predestined by God, that this hour, that it wasn't meant for early this morning, it's meant for later on this afternoon, because somebody gonna go through some things later on, and when they see this, God will spark in them that joy, their peace, their hope, that strength. It will get them energized and reflect on what's going on. It is, as the song is being played in the background, it is for the good of them. What is for the good of us? All things, Paul said in Romans chapter 8 verse 28, works for our good, no matter what it is. You have to know that God is working out in your favor. That if you're walking in the newness of life, if you're walking after God, following God, and guess what? The Bible says he reigns on the just as well as the unjust. The sun shines on the good as well as the evil. So it doesn't matter who you are and what you are. God still has a purpose and still love you. It's up to you to make the choice to come out of what you're in. So listen to what Paul says to the church at Galatia after he asked them, who is it that have bewitched you? Who is it have you allowed? Or what is it have you allowed to cause you to be put under a spell? Who has cast a spell on you? Down in New Orleans, there was an old man that used to sing a song. He's dead and gone now. And he used to sing some of the voodoo songs down in Louisiana. And one of his favorite songs was, I've cast a spell on you. Who has cast a spell over your life, over your mind, have changed your focus, have changed your thoughts, changed your belief into believing that you can live any kind of way and still expect to get to heaven? You can't live on both sides of the fence. We that are living, that are not living a homosexual lifestyle, alternative lifestyle, can't think we're going to get to heaven and still have our women on the side as men or our men on the side as women. And those that are living on the other side cannot say that I have and I'm doing what God said, and I have my man and I'm a man, and my woman and I'm a woman, or I have my husband and my boyfriend at the same time, or I have my wife and my boyfriend at the same time, or the wife have a girlfriend. That is not of God. It's not pleasing in the sight of God, and we recompense in our flesh. But the key word, God still died for it on Calvary. He gave his son to die for things such as that. He died for every hurt that you went through. Whether you was molested as a child, beaten as a child, whether you was considered the black sheep of the family, whether you was set aside in the family, whether mother or father wanted to listen at what you had to say, whether mother beat you just because, you caught whippings just because, whether you were locked in closets, whether you were fed scraps, or whether you were fed food that had been spoiled. God knew what was going on. That was a purpose to build your life, to share with somebody else. Whether your wife that is going through right now, whether your husband that is going through right now, this word is for you to come out of your bondage, come out of your jail. Some of you, God have already opened the cage door, but you've been in that so long that you don't know what it is to be free. You don't know how it is to walk out. The door been set open for you. He's given you an open door, but you're used to your circumstances and condition. You're used to the mindset. You're used to the emotional distraught that you don't know how to act being on the outside. That's what happened to some of our brothers, some of our sisters. They've been in jail so long that they've been conditioned to that state of mind, that state of being, that state of lifestyle, and they do things to go back because they cannot function on the outside. God is saying today that I've been freed you. I gave you your freedom. I gave you your independence long before July 4th, 1776, long before June 19th, 1876. He said, I gave you your freedom. Now, for those of you that are bound, I told you forgiveness and letting go. You want to be no longer bound? Paul says, stand fast therefore in the liberty wherewith Christ hath made us free, and be not entangled again with the yoke of bondage. You want to come out of your bondage, brothers and sisters? Stand fast. If God has opened the door, walk through the door. Don't be afraid what's on the other side of the door. Just because you don't know what it is, just because there's some uncertainty, just because there is a new life that's on the other side that you never lived, that you don't know what's going on, you don't know how to react, stay calm, relax yourself. 2 Timothy chapter 1 verse 7, God said to Paul to tell Timothy, to tell the church, that he didn't give us the spirit of fear. Do not allow the enemy to make you afraid, to have you thinking crazy, to have you thinking in a stinky thought of mind that you have no clue. Walk forward, stand firm, and trust God. Acknowledge him, Solomon said, in all your ways. God promised to direct your path. How do I know that? I've been down some of them roads. I've been afraid to test the waters where I've never been. I've been afraid to walk down paths that I was uncertain, but I had to trust God that he knew what he was doing, because where God leads, he has already provided. Where God leads, he's already lighting up the pathway. Where God leads, he's already provided protection. That's why David said, the Lord is the strength of my life. The Lord is my light and my salvation. The Lord is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Why are you fearful and fretful when God is there all the time? Stand in your liberty. You don't need to be bound. Stop allowing what has caused you hurt to continue to hurt you. Let go of the hurt. By acknowledging it before God, that's how you get free. That's how you're able to let go. That's how you're able to build. That's how you're able to grow. You let it go into the hands of God. You trust God that when you put it in his hands, when it tries to rise up, that when you see the person or the thing that caused you hurt, harm, that may have put you in danger, that it no longer causes you to become afraid. You're no longer overwhelmed by your emotions, your intellect. You're no longer overwhelmed by a sense of